Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year, happy whatever holiday it is you are celebrating. And if you're listening to this as it comes out, welcome to the week that you don't know what day it is and you can't remember the last time you took a shower or changed out of the sweatpants you're currently wearing. If we haven't met, my name is Jonathan Carone. I'm the host of the show. Today we have a bonus episode for you with one of my best friends, Mr. Eric Williams. If you caught our 10 Commandments of Healthy Sports Parents episode back in the summer, you've had a dose of me and Eric together. If you haven't listened to that one, go check it out after you watch this one, because that one is a foundational episode for this entire platform. Eric is a current youth baseball and middle school volleyball coach. He's also coached at the NAIA level and been on the admin side of youth sports as well. So he has just as much, if not more, experience in this world as I do. Today, we've put together a list of 9 things we hope your kid learns through sports in 2026. Before we get to that, though, I've got to give you the same spiel I give every single episode. If you like the show today, we're going to ask that you rate us and review us wherever you're listening. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, we need some new reviews, so writing up a small review would be a huge help. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to hit that like and that subscribe button. Most of all, if this episode helps you in any way, the best thing you can do is share it with a friend. With all that out of the way, here's my conversation with Eric Williams. Say his name and he appears. I believe in Eric Williams. Hi, Eric.
Oh, I didn't even know we were recording. Okay, all right, good. I just thought that's just, that's so much of a normal banter thing. So I just expected that was going to happen. But yeah, I'm here. I'm here anytime, You could say my name 3 times. I'll show up like Beetlejuice. Say it once like Joe Hendry. I'll be here. Whatever you want.
So for those of you who live in the baseball and softball worlds, you know about walk-up songs. Yep. What you don't know is for Eric's travel ball team, I created intros for all of them because I'm a baseball PA announcer. So I went ahead and did those. But for his son specifically, I took the Joe Hendry theme song and edited his son's name in those in different tones and inflections so that his walk-up is now, I believe in, can I say your son's name on here?
Sure, yeah.
I believe in Oliver Williams. And so
yep, there it was.
It felt normal.
Yeah, well, I mean, and for anybody out there, it's like, how can you resist when you've got the basic Midwest accent like I do, when you have the sultry Southern tones of a Jonathan Carone like that, you gotta say, hey, can you hook me up with some names? Now, because I live in the Southwest, I had to throw a couple of we have a couple of Hispanic names that don't exactly roll off the tongue for someone that hasn't been out in this
that
area.
lives in a town that is 91% white.
Yes, and I was the only white person in my elementary class.
So on that note, I mentioned in the intro, I hope I record the intro after this, so I hope I will hit it then. But we're ending the year off, giving you something to start the new year off with, something, just a fun episode. We know this week is a travel week for a lot of people. It is a week of just kind of doing nothing, so we wanted to give you something here. But as we go into 2026, we've got 9 things that we hope your kid learns through youth sports this year. And we're going to do this just like we did our 10 Commandments episode with Eric a few months ago, or back in the summer, actually. And then like the one we did with Bree from the Top Bleacher, we're putting ourselves on a clock, which for me and Bree was hard enough. For me and Eric, when we're together, it's nearly impossible. But
nearly impossible.
5 minutes per lesson. We have 9 lessons. If the clock goes up in the middle of us talking, too bad. We have to move on. I will likely want to throw my phone across the room at some point when it goes off while I'm talking. For each lesson, I'm going to introduce the lesson, and then Eric will get to talk through his thoughts, and then I will give my take with whatever time I have left. Eric, do you have anything to add before we get started?
No.
Okay. Pulling up on my phone. 5 minutes are set. Lesson number 1 that we hope your kid learns in 2026 through youth sports. We hope your kid learns how to separate confidence from performance.
So coming at this from a coach's perspective, especially in baseball, which we've talked before when we've been together, baseball's a game of failure. You fail most of the time. And so we tell our kids, like, have a short memory. Mistakes are the way that you learn. You're going to make those neurological connections in your brain by actually making mistakes. And so, but the thing is, what I tell all my kids is, like, you want to make mistakes one at a time. Don't make one mistake and then get all frustrated and make another mistake. Have that confidence of knowing I can get it next time. Have the same mindset regardless of those results that are coming up. And in fact, like, one of the big things for baseball especially is, there's one tournament game. We get up to this team and their pitcher is just throwing gas, and our guy's like, oh man, we're cooked. I have to remind him, like, when you step into the batter's box, you're on offense. You are the one doing damage. Everyone else in the field is on defense for a reason. And so the more confidence you can have to step up, the better you're going to do. And I think when we mix that and we allow our end performance to impact our confidence, that doesn't just affect us on the field. It's going to affect you in life. I mean, think about you as an adult. So that's my first volley over there for you.
I would say that confidence comes from knowing who we are and believing in the work we've put in. If we know we've been doing the work and we've been practicing and we've been trying and we've been doing it over and over, then we know, or we can have confidence that the performance will come. It might not come right away, and it might not come this next time, and we might continue to fail a few times. But if we trust ourselves and if we trust the work we've put in, knowing that we're doing the best we can and we've been doing the work to get better, then we can have confidence the performance will come. And when we have confidence in the work we have done, then that's something we can control. We're not putting our confidence in something that we can't control, because in soccer, you can be doing all the right things and you come up against someone who stands on their head in the goal and you put a great shot on goal and they just block it. If our confidence is in our performance, then we're going to get down on ourselves because a goalie made a great play. In baseball, we can have a great approach and hit the crap out of the ball, and it ends up pop fly in the deepest part of the field. Well,
or a line. We've had it, a missile, but right at someone.
Yeah.
It's like, don't, and you hear it. It sounds cliche, but we tell them, don't change anything about that. Keep doing that, because eventually that will get through.
And what I tell my kids all the time is, like, can you be brave enough to be bad at something before you're good at it? Yeah. Because that's what it's going to take. We're not going to be good right away. And what happens, and I think this generation is unique in this, especially compared to previous generations, but they're so much more scared to fail than we were.
Yep.
And I don't know if that's because of social. I don't know if that's because of pressure. There's so many things that could be causing that, but they feel like they have to know everything. Actually, I'll go back. When I interviewed Steve Magnus back in the spring, he said that, and it was a great conversation, but he said that our comparison circle used to only be with the kids in our grade, in our town, in our elementary school or our middle school. And now we're playing travel, or we have the internet. So our comparison circle is so much bigger than what
everyone
it used
on the
to be.
internet.
It's everyone on the internet. So we don't see them failing. We don't see them messing up and having to. So kids think that they have to figure it out from the get-go. So if their confidence is in their performance, then they're going to be even less confident when they mess up. If they're not learning that confidence is in the process and not the results.
Yeah. And the other thing about that too is, like, you tell them to have confidence because when you step up, in your case for soccer or whatever, you step up to make that pass or to make that run or to shoot that shot, your thought should be, I can do this, as opposed to, what if I miss? Because you know this as well as I do. It's like, if you focus on the miss, you're going to miss, because your brain can't comprehend a negative. So something like the old cliche, don't think of an elephant. The first thing you have to think about is an elephant in order to not think about it. So if it's like, what if I miss? Or don't miss, what's going to happen is your brain is thinking miss, or it's putting in there, what does it look like if I miss? What does it look like if I fail? As opposed to doing the mindfulness work of being successful.
Yeah. We got done with that one with 9 seconds to go because I got nothing to add.
Look at that. Wow. Perfect. Bank it.
That's going to be the only one. We can't bank it. We learned that last time. Okay. Lesson number 2 that we hope your kid learns this year through youth sports. We hope your kid learns how, excuse me, I was looking at the clock, trying to get the clock going instead of reading off the list. Lesson 2, we hope your kid learns how to handle hard things without giving up.
Man, life is tough. That was the thing that my mom, if there were two things that she told us all the time growing up, is life's not fair, suck it up. It was life's not fair and suck it up. In fact, when we had her celebration of life service, the t-shirts that were created, somebody created it, was just that quote. It was quote, life's not fair, suck it up. My sister's got that tattooed on her. You know, it's like, that was something that was ingrained on me from the beginning, is stuff is going to be tough. Life is not fair. It's going to be tough. In fact, when I would complain to her about something, she would like, it sounds like she's a great mom, but she'd be like, oh, I'm so sorry. Poor baby. You know, it's like, what do you want? Do you want to be coddled on these things, or do you want to have the resolve, the resolve and the grit to move forward? Because, you know, whether you want, and I'm sure you'll come up with your Southern Baptist drawl on this one, but it's like, what is it? It's like our greatest breakthrough is on the other side of our greatest problems, or something like that. You know, it's like, what is it that we keep getting told? Is it's right on the other side of the hill. You literally have to go through the tough parts in order to get success. And so, in the same way as what's the quote from A League of Their Own, you know, when it's like, it's too hard. It's like, yeah, it's the hard. That's what makes it good, right? Like the whole thing, it's tough. That's what makes it good. The fact that we're going through these things and overcoming is better than getting something easy and for free.
I realized in counseling a few years ago that I never learned how to process disappointment growing up as a kid. And so if there was ever a chance something would be disappointing, I would either run from it and not even try, or I would get mad at it and like just torpedo stuff in the process. And so when I hear, we hope your kid learns how to handle hard things without giving up, that's where my mind goes. Like, how do we teach kids that it's okay to be disappointed? And that it's okay. Like, disappointment's real. It's like, I want you to get mad that you lost. I want you to be mad that you struck out. Because that shows me you care. Yeah. But are we going to give up because of those hard things, or are we going to use those as fuel to keep going? And I'm going to make this about me for a minute, just because whatever. But Eric, I don't know if I've told you this or not, but I told my wife, like, where I am with healthy sports parents right now, this is taking up so much more time than I ever imagined it would. And it's essentially a 3/4 time job that I'm not really getting paid for. I've sold a couple ads, so I'm getting a little bit there, but I had to make a decision. It's like,
just remember, your treasure is in youth sports heaven.
But I had to make
you're getting participation trophies in youth sports heaven.
Is that Disney's Wild World of Sports?
Yeah, that's what it is. There you go.
But I had to make a decision. Like, am I going to pull back and like scale down a little bit because I'm not getting the things I would necessarily want to compensate for the time right now? Or do I keep pushing through, knowing, like you just said, that if this is going to become something, that something is on the other side of this exhaustion right now of all the stuff that I'm doing. And like with the Healthy Sports Parents book, I've had people tell me, like, why aren't you just self-publishing? Self-publishing is so much easier. I had to put myself through the disappointment of trying to find an agent, trying to find a publisher, so that I could remind myself I can do hard things without giving up, because I didn't learn that as a kid. I'm having to do that now as a 39-year-old man. So imagine if we taught our elementary age kids, our teenagers, our high school, like, imagine if we use sports to teach them that they can handle hard things without giving up, so that they're not having to kind of, I would say I'm still having to learn that, not even relearn it. I'm having to learn that as a grown adult. And I can't imagine how much different things would be now at 39 had I developed those tools when I was a teenager.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think the other aspect of that too, because I love that you said, like, I'm okay if you get upset, like, it's okay. And separating out the emotion from what we do with it. So even as an adult, like I'm upset. I'm upset for you that you've been turned down because I think this book would be great. But it's like, what does that motivate you to do? And we say this to our kids all the time that we're coaching, whether it's volleyball or baseball or whatever. It's like, are you going to write a better story now on what you can do better going forward, either to fix a mistake or to positively move forward? As I close.
Lesson number 3. Oh, let me pull the clock up first so I don't mess up reading again. Here we go.
Are you starting it after you read it or as you read it?
Once I hit the period of the sentence, I'm starting it.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
Because I'm trying to sync my clock.
I'm not taking time away from you, Eric. It's okay.
No, I know.
You're going to get your full. Stop being so
I'm
mad.
Looking.
Stop it. Like, it's okay. You're going to get your time.
Just because I want to know, what level of Scottie Pippen can I be to toss you the ball? If I need to be Steve Kerr at the end and take the shot, I need to know if I'm going to be ready, or if the time's going to run out and I just got to stand there and put my fists up in the air when you score the winning goal or whatever.
Lesson 3.
I'll be the Brandy Chastain. I'll take the shirt off. It's fine.
Twist around your head, spin like a helicopter.
Yep.
Lesson number 3. We hope your kids learn that mistakes are feedback, not failure.
Oh my gosh. I love these are all kind of like in the same vein, but I can't tell you, you were saying too, like this generation, it feels like they're much more afraid of messing up. Right now I'm coaching both middle school girls volleyball, 7th and 8th grade, and like a middle school age 13U baseball. And the amount of emotions from both of them around screwing up is so intense and so much worse than it was when I was a kid. I mean, these boys will strike out and then get angry and cry on the way back to the dugout. Or these girls, they'll make a mistake and then they, do the little like rage face. They call it crashing out, the crash out face. And it's like, I can't tell you how many conversations I've had with adolescent children saying, hey, I know that wasn't the way you wanted to go. Is anybody mad at you? And they go, no. Am I mad at you? No. Do you think like your parents over there, are they mad at you? No. And it's like, you have to remind them that these mistakes they're not like some sort of just tear down of their entire life. And that, just like we said in the last one, are we going to now rewrite this to say, what am I going to do better? Next time I see that pitch, I'm going to do this with it. Next time that ball comes to me, I'm going to do this with it, or just even having the confidence to say, that there wasn't me. I know I can do it better next time.
If we're not making mistakes, we're not getting better.
Right.
Like, that is a concept that is a lifelong lesson that sports are able to teach us. We're just using these silly little games to teach that. Like my girls, I coached a U12 rec soccer team this past fall. And by the end of the season, my girls were saying some of these types of sayings back to me because I said it so much. But one of the things that I told them over and over when we're introducing new ideas is, can you go slow before you go fast? It's okay to go slow and figure it out before you go fast, because I would have these girls that I would introduce a new concept or a new skill, and they're trying to go balls to the wall, full speed, doing this from the get-go, having never stop. Don't make that face. That's phrasing. I know. They were trying to go all out, trying to do this new skill without having ever done it before, and they're messing up and they're getting upset with it. And so I'm trying to teach them, like, it's okay to make those mistakes. The mistake is feedback. Take the feedback and slow down.
Yep.
And then once you get the hang of it, we can speed back up. But if you're going so fast that you can't do it right, then you're going to continue messing it up. Just like I think about any sport, almost every new skill we practice can be slowed down until we get it right.
Yep.
We can walk through it
down,
in football.
Yep.
We can but we're so intent on trying to get it right the first time that we often feel like going slow doesn't count as much, or that it's not as good. When when I'm in the gym and I'm trying to do a new lift that I've never done before or a new exercise, I've got my trainer next to me and I'm like, so you're saying I do it this way? Like what's my cue on my elbows? So where do my elbows need to be? Okay. And when am I like, and so we're walking through it to get it right so that I can do it correctly long term. And you know what always happens? I get it wrong because I've never felt it before and I don't know what it's supposed to feel like yet. So I'm doing it and the coach or the trainer, no, focus on this. Oh, okay. And all of a sudden I start doing it right. And those little failure points were my teachers to learn how to do it right.
And maybe this is the line we need. Let's, in 2026, parents, let's normalize not getting it right the first time. Let's normalize not getting it right every time. Let's normalize being okay with taking a step back to a fundamental part and understanding, especially when your coach is going through it, that that's okay and that's part of learning and that's part of life. I know
as
you and I,
as parents, I'm going to talk over you here because I got 20 seconds left. As parents, though, we have to support and encourage through the mistakes. We can't get onto our kids just for messing up. Sorry, go ahead.
Yep. What did you learn from it is the question that I would ask, right? What are you going to do next time? What is that going to help you do better next time? Don't worry about the failure. Worry about the opportunity it has for growth.
Look at you.
Which transitions right into.
That was a perfect dismount. But you did set me up. Lesson number 4, we hope your kid learns in 2026. We hope your kid learns that effort creates opportunity.
So I literally today just saw this. It was the Cowboys, whoever they were playing this weekend as we record this. But it was a special teams move. The kicking team guy was running down and he is just getting blocked. He's getting like just mad dogged by this blocker, block, even gets knocked over and then gets up and he's still going. And he's the guy that ends up making the tackle. Right. And it's so like I think the meme label was like, show this to every one of your kids, like never give up. It's one of those things that you put yourself in the spot to be able to be successful. I know I've got friends that say I'd rather be lucky than good. Sure. I'd rather be good because then when luck comes or those opportunities come, it's more reliable. It's more repeatable. So the two things that you can always control, and that's what I've said all the time, is effort and attitude. And so if I'm looking around and I'm like, what are my controllables? Well, I can show up with my effort. And then what's the other controllable? I can show up with my effort and I can have a positive attitude along the way. And trying to display or trying to talk about this with adolescents and younger, I really had a hard time talking about like, what does leadership look like in these areas? And, what I say to my son, especially, is like, if everybody was doing what you were doing, would that be a good thing? And trying to think about what are the things that I can do that if everybody on the team was doing what I'm doing right now, we'd be a better team. And they usually come down to my attitude and my effort.
The team I was coaching this past fall that I mentioned, one of my assistants is the athletic director at the local high school. And he has coached every boys sport you can possibly coach at the high school level. And he is, I think at this point, he's 50 years old. He's got a daughter my daughter's age. So he's an older dad, totally different generation than I'm from. Used to coaching high school boys. So some of the commentary I get in my ear on the sidelines, where to his credit, will not say any of this out loud so that the girls could hear him. But when we're just kind of like venting in the middle of a game, nothing annoys him more than bad effort and bad attitudes. In his quote,
Did we talk about this before you get to the quote? I don't know if we've talked about this or not, but like, that's the one thing that I don't want to coach. I don't want to have to coach your attitude or your effort, because if I'm wasting time coaching your attitude and effort, I'm not coaching the other things. You need to bring the attitude and effort in a positive way so that we can coach the things we need to coach.
I will clean up what he said and take the F-bombs out of it. But he said,
no, leave them in.
He said, it costs you absolutely nothing to have good effort and good attitudes. And any kid, regardless of talent, can have a good effort and a good attitude. And for the record, he did not say the F-bombs to the children. He said the F-bombs to me with no children around. I just want to make that abundantly clear here. But like, we can't always control our outcomes. But
correct.
One of the things I'm keenly aware of is the different size schools across the country. And I know that in large areas, let's say high schools of 1,500 or more, you've got to be really, really good to make a high school team. But in areas like where I live and the areas where, let's say your high school's under 1,200, if you have a good attitude and put in great effort, those coaches are going to find a place for you because the numbers game means they need kids like that on the team.
Yep.
So for the half of you who are listening who come from, because the average high school in America is 1,500, which half of you statistically are smaller than that. Your kid can have incredible opportunities, regardless of if they're not talented at all. If they just have a good attitude and put in max effort, someone will find a place for that player.
And it will be your tipping point if you're equal with other people. It will separate you. Case in point, we had 2 girls on our volleyball team that we decided not to take this year because of attitude in particular. Last year on my baseball team, statistically our best hitter, we decided not to take him because of attitude. You know, there are so many things that cleaning up the attitude on a team makes it so much better. Our team was way better this year, even though arguably we lost one of our best hitters because everybody had a better attitude and more effort coming through.
And I'm going to blow through this alarm here in a second, just because this is not kid related. This is parent related. Okay. So I'm going to call this as an extra. Yeah. I've had 3 Division I coaches on this show who have all said the attitude of parents impacts the recruitability of kids. I've had Power 4 coaches.
Haters in the comments will say it's fake right now.
Oh, I get comments on that video every day.
Especially on Facebook will say it's fake.
But
I was the same thing. So when I coached in NAIA, we would go on recruiting or we would recruit people. And the one thing that you would ask a coach, and when I was a high school coach, the thing I would be asked the most was not how good are they? It's what are they like? What is their family like? I would never be asked about, there'd be a couple of times, but more often than not, it would be they wanted to know what kind of person the individual was. And they wanted to know what their family brought drama-wise. And they would turn down people either because their attitude and effort stunk and or their family was terrible. Usually both were, the apple didn't fall far from the tree. Or I guess the tree didn't grow far from the apple.
So mom and dad, your effort and your attitude will matter in this process long-term as well. So I hope in 2026 you also learn that your effort will impact the opportunities your kid gets.
Your attitude as well. Like parents with a bad attitude, honestly, we almost turned down a kid on our team who's a great kid because of his parents, right? Like we've done that before. And the parents, anyone who's coached for longer than one game can probably tell you, it's not the kids. Sometimes it's the referees, but it's not the kids. It's not the officials. It's the parents that ruin youth sports for you.
On that note, we're going to take a quick resource break. We'll get to lessons 5 through 9 after that, but we want to take just a minute to give you some resources that can help you out through this youth sports journey. We'll be back with Eric in just a minute. I know we just celebrated Christmas, but if your kid is looking for something to use their gift card money on, I want to introduce you with Strands with a Z. Strands makes hypoallergenic, tarnish-free chains and pendants. I got one for my son and I back in the summer, and I literally have not taken this off since I put it on back in July. My son got a pendant with his soccer number on it, and he wears that all the time as well. Strands has a special offer for you that runs from when this episode is released through the end of the day on January 4th, 2026. If you go to shopstrands.com and use the code HSP20, you can get 20% off your order. The direct link is down in the show notes. Go get your kid the chain they're going to wear all year long. Hey sports parents, if your kid plays on multiple teams or if you've got more than one kid playing, you know the hat problem. Constantly swapping team hats every weekend just to match the uniform your kid's wearing. That's why I love my friends at Ball Brand. They make high-quality sports-based hats, not team-based, so you can show your love for the game itself no matter the team your kid is playing for. The hats are all built from a heavyweight fabric with clean, modern embroidery that looks good anywhere. To make it even better, every hat you purchase helps support youth sports programs and charities through their Keep the Ball Rolling initiative. At Ball Brand, they believe in more fan wear, less franchise. Visit ball-brand.com and use code CHILLY15 for 15% off your first hat.
Hey, it's Jonathan. If you haven't signed up for the Weekend Playbook yet, here's the deal. Every Friday, I send a quick hit encouragement to help you head into the weekend with purpose. We talk about stuff like how to handle post-game silence, what to do when the ref blows a call, or how to meet your kid right where they are. The goal is simple, to help you show up better and be the parent your kid needs. The link's down in the show notes. Go sign up today.
Let's go out to the lobby. Let's go out to the lobby. Let's go out to the lobby and get ourselves a snack.
Lesson number 5, we hope your kid learns this year. We hope your kid learns that emotions are not their enemy.
I feel like everything that we've been talking about so far kind of builds to the same point about emotional intelligence and emotional regulation. And I think you would probably acknowledge too, going through therapy and counseling is like, as I have, is like at 40, I think it was like 41 years old was the first that I thought about, emotional regulation being so important. And from it, we did this last time I was on the pod, is like, one, coaches, if you are sorting out your emotional dysregulation in the post-game talk or the halftime talk or the I'm mad at you, pull the kid out of the that's wrong. Like, emotionally regulate before you talk to kids. And then parents, if you are processing your emotional regulation on the car ride home, that's wrong as well. And we want to teach these kids how to emotionally regulate well. How do you do that? You understand that you bring confidence to everything and then performance will come. How do you do that? You understand that when hard things come up, it's okay to be emotional about them, but you can take that. You don't push the emotion aside. You take that, you process the emotion. You say, okay, what do I need here to help me survive and thrive? And what can I push to the side and say, this is not helpful. What do I do with that? You see that mistakes, when they come in, instead of me taking it personally, when Jonathan says, hey, Eric, your elbow's coming out a little bit on this one, tuck it in a little bit more when you're going to make that throw, instead of me going, oh, he hates me, or oh, he's just trying to pick on me. No, I'm going, okay, emotionally I can regulate and move forward, and emotionally going, okay, even though bad things are happening around me, I can control my attitude and effort, and I can emotionally regulate so that I can maybe even help others emotionally regulate on our team as well. So emotions are not the enemy. It's what you do with those emotions that really hurts. I'll use this one example too. I want to save you enough time. Last season, I was talking, we've had like 2 or 3 parents on our team that are all in the school systems. And I said, we need a calm down corner in the dugout. Can one of you get, develop like a travel calm down corner like you would have in your classroom? It's got to have a little like sensory swing and a little, weighted blanket and stuff like that. Because that's what we need. We need these kids to be able to emotionally regulate and to say, okay, this stimuli happened. It doesn't control me. I can control my reaction to it. That's not only going to make them a better, athlete, it's going to make them a decent human being.
On that note, you set me up perfectly, because what I was going to say is that we are humans and humans have emotions. So our goal is not to take emotions out of sports. Our goal is not to be a robot. Our goal is to help our kids learn how to manage and control the emotions that human beings have, because they're going to have emotions. And I think for a lot of us growing up, we were taught that we shouldn't have emotions in the middle of games. We should like shake it off and just go play. And I don't think that taught us lessons that set us up well for adulthood. So if we can teach our kids how to use their emotions to fuel their goals and to fuel their performance, and also that their emotions are okay regardless of what they are. Like, their emotions are real. They're not always true though. You may make a mistake reliable and feel like I'm the worst player in the world. Okay, that's a real feeling and a real emotion in the moment, but that's not true. So how do we help our kids process
I would say
emotions?
too, like, emotions are real, but they're not reliable for decision making. You don't rely on those emotions for decision making. The emotion is real. I feel like a failure. but I cannot make a decision that I am a failure based on that feeling.
Lovely. It's my turn, and the yard people decided to get up and blow the leaves right outside my window as I'm talking. So I've got 1 minute left to try to say this. So if you're hearing the other stuff, I'm sorry. The baseball team, local high school baseball team, I'm the PA announcer. I get to do some off-field stuff with them as well. We did a trip to the beach for spring break last year, and we were playing the number 1 4A team in the state. They had won the state title the year before, and our top pitcher, he was just all up in his head. He goes out there and had a rough first. You could tell he's thinking about his emotions are telling him that this is the best team in the state. I've got to be blah 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 blah. So he comes in the dugout. I'm like, let's say his name was Eric. Eric.
Yep.
Who are you? Well, Eric. What do you mean? Like, I'm Eric. You're Eric effing Williams. Well, right. Yeah. I'm like, go be Eric effing Williams. Don't worry about who they are. Like, use your emotions to fuel, like, knowing the confidence of who you are so that you can go out and perform. And the kid goes out and strikes out the side the next inning, like screams coming off the mound. But again, he had to take those emotions that were big and real inside of him and channel them in a way that was more effective, because the emotions were there and we couldn't get rid of them, but we had to use those in a better way.
And I know that went off, but I'm just going to tell you this. I use the Cool Runnings bathroom scene so many times in coaching. I mean, I will do my really, really bad Jamaican accent. I'll be like, look in the mirror and tell me what you see. And they'll be like, I don't get it, coach. That movie was from the 1990s. I've never seen it. I was like, I see pride. I see power. I see a bad mother who won't take no crap off of nobody. Say it again. And then it's like trying to get them to get into it, so. Or we'll do the you is kind, or you is smart, you is kind, you is important.
That was worth the extra minute. All right.
Yeah, you're right.
Lesson number 6. We hope your kid learns that being coachable matters everywhere.
Yep. Just stop. Full stop. End. Period. Say it again. No. Yeah.
Do we need 5 minutes on this one?
I mean, I don't know how many times we could say it. And I think if you're a parent, you're listening to that and you don't shake your head and go, yeah, that's important. You are part of the problem, because think about it. In every scenario, you want coachable humans next to you. You want a coachable human that is working with you. You want a coachable human that is your boss. You want a coachable human that works for you. You want a coachable human that's doing your brain surgery, right? You want them to be able to see that they can take feedback, that they can take coaching, and that they have a will and a desire to get better. They do not see feedback as something that is harmful to them, but they see it as an ability to say, okay, and hopefully as they get older, they can kind of take it in, filter out what is going to be productive and what's not necessary, and then work on that and move forward. Again, normalize not getting it right the first time, normalize not doing it right every time, normalize not taking things personally, but taking personal responsibility to get better.
One day your kid is going to play their last game. Mm-hmm. And being coachable is a trait that will serve them long after they're done playing. That doesn't mean they have to be a pushover. That doesn't mean that they should take negative feedback in ways that is disrespectful and inappropriate. Like, we're not telling you to just roll over and take any type of criticism. Can your kid be coachable? Because being coachable, like Eric said, like listening to the feedback, filtering in, okay, this is what they're saying, this is how it applies to me. Oh, I can go do that. That is a trait that our kids can use for the rest of their life. And I can fill out the next 3 minutes, but I'm done with that one if you are.
But so here, let's talk about this. What's not coachable? Because I think sometimes people don't get it. One, what's not coachable? What's not coachable? This is subversive. But what's not coachable is you giving me feedback and me going, yeah, got it, and then nothing changes.
Oh, I know.
That is, yeah, oh, I got it. And not even I know. I mean, that is one side. I know. But we've got kids that are like, yep, got it, But what they're trying to do is just placate, like, the other side to go, yeah, I got it, But they're not actually taking it in. They're trying to kind of soften the blow of like, oh, I screwed up. It's still an I screwed up and I know what I know I need to get better. So that side. The other side, just like you said, be getting attitude. Yeah, I know. I got it. No, I got it. Like, attitude wise is also not coachable. What are some other examples of not coachable?
The body language piece of, like, if I'm taking the time to coach you up on something, and imagine your kid's feet should be facing me, because if their feet are turned, what that tells me is this is subconsciously too. They probably don't even realize they're doing it. But if their feet are turned, that means they're already trying to get away from me as fast as possible to get back to what they were doing. And so to be coachable, you have to be present. And so can you stay with me? Conversation. Again, if you go back to my conversation with Dr. Case, eye contact, yes or no, depending on the kid. If it's a kid with ADHD and they're making eye contact with you, as he said, there's a good chance they're not paying attention. So eye contact can be hit or miss, but the rest of the body language, Eric hasn't listened to that episode yet. So he, as we're recording this, so he had no clue. But if they're turned and trying to get away from me, there's a good chance they're not actually listening and they're not actually being coachable. So can your kids slow down and be present enough to listen and understand, not just listen and react?
Yep. Are they seeing it as a gift, as you are someone that's trying to help me overcome some sort of problem, as opposed to taking it personally?
And then as mom and dad, if your kid, if you see your kid's coach talking to them and coaching them, a good move from your part is, hey, I saw you and Coach Eric talking about this one. What was he coaching you up on? And then if the kid can explain that back, so what does that mean? What do you need to do in order to be able to X, Y, Z that Coach Eric just said? And if your kid can not only explain what he was saying, but can also talk about what their job is to do to go out and do what they were being coached on, then that tells you they're starting to understand it. But if it's, I don't know, I don't remember, then were they really paying attention or were they being coachable?
And an advanced level is, can they tell you back in a emotionally regulated state? So instead of being like, coach is telling me that I got to lift my elbow up a little bit higher when I do this. You know what I mean? Or he says not to swing at the high ones. Or is it saying something objective and being able to move on with it?
You can't see me shaking my hips. I realize the camera's not that low, but I was shaking my hips.
I saw it. I could see.
You could see the shoulders.
I see enough of it. Yeah, it was good.
All right. Lesson number 7. We have 3 left. Lesson number 7, we hope your kid learns in 2026. We hope your kid learns that leadership starts with serving.
If everyone else was doing what you are doing, would that be good or bad? Would that help the team? Would that be a good thing? Right? You lead by example. If everyone else had the attitude you have, would that be a good thing or a bad thing? If everyone else was giving the effort you have, would that be a good thing or would that be a bad thing? And that shows that, if I want to lead, that's what I have to put in first, is what is it that I'm going to do first? Leadership is not about, and this seems like this is something that should be a given, but for maybe our young athletes out there, if they didn't vote you in as the captain, or if you're not a senior or whatever, don't worry about, or you're not a starter, don't worry about any of that stuff. You can lead from wherever you are, because leadership is not about a title. Leadership is not about longevity. Leadership is not about anything like that. You can lead from wherever you are, and it starts with your attitude, your effort, and doing all the things that you need to do. Some of my favorite pieces of sports highlights and stuff, I think it was it Yamamoto, who's the guy for LA, who goes out, pitches one hell of a World Series game, and then they got video of him cleaning up the dugout after his complete game start. Yes, do that. Look at Shohei, and I'm not obviously not an LA fanboy or anything, but Shohei, you see him when he's walking with other players like a Clayton Kershaw or something like that, or a Max Scherzer, and he stops and he lets them walk through first, or he's just polite. Those are the things that I'm going, do that. If you can have that attitude and be one of the greatest athletes in the world, that's great. That's a win. But guess what? Not everybody gets to be a Yamamoto or a Shohei from a talent perspective. But if you could be that from an attitude perspective, you are going to change lives.
I recently saw an interview with one of the coaches at Belmont Abbey, which is a Division II school. I think it's here in North Carolina. It might be one of the states. It's border somewhere. I don't remember. But he told the story about this thing that they stole from the All Blacks in New Zealand. And basically what they do is, traditionally the underclassmen are the ones who would have to carry gear or clean up or whatever.
Yep.
They make the
hazing
seniors
and
do
rituals
it.
and stuff. Yeah.
Their program makes the seniors clean up the locker room because leading is serving. And he told a story about how on graduation day, the guys on his team are in their cap and gown, and their last thing they have to do as members of their team is go in the locker room after graduation and clean up the locker room, deep clean for the next year, to literally leave it better than they found it. And he said that by the time those guys get to senior year, you can't get them out of that locker room. By the time they get to graduation day, you can't get, because they know once they leave that locker room, it's done. And imagine if we can raise kids that see their greatest leadership as setting it up for the kids behind them, setting it up for those who maybe aren't as good, who are coming next, and serving them not to get anything out of it, not to be performative, but to show others the way it's supposed to be done. And so I would challenge any of you who have spring athletes this year. Maybe your kid is the best. Maybe your kid is an upperclassman. What can they do this season to serve the underclassmen? What can they do? So let's say you're on a rec league team and it's a U12 team, but your kid's in their 12-year-old year and there's 11-year-old year kids behind them. What can your kid do to serve those younger kids and help them out? Because ultimately, that's how we lead others, is by serving them.
Yep. Yeah. And I think that is a huge key to be able to do that, to look over. And I think it helps with some of the other things we've talked about, because if you are viewing your leadership as a servant nature, you are seeing that there are things bigger than you. So hopefully that reinforces that when I screw up, I know that it's not about me. It's not about me. I'm not the best. It's also not about me when I might have been the one to miss the game winning whatever, or I might have been the one to whatever, give up the focal point. But there were so many other decisions and things that happened up to that point, and the team is there. One thing we tell our teammates is when I come out to get a picture or something like that, I'll look at everybody. I'll say, okay, who's got his back? Who's got his back? Who's got his back? He just walked 3 guys straight. Who's got his back? And every time you want those guys to say, I do, I do, I do, because they're going to lead by supporting their teammate as well. And hopefully that helps you emotionally regulate through those tough times.
Perfect dismount. Lesson number 8 that we hope your kid learns in 2026. We hope your kid learns that accountability builds trust.
Yeah. I mean, to the same point, we went over this with our teams, is like when they screw up, and this happens now, like when they screw up, it's a glove to the face. It's a walk away. It's a hold your head down. Instead of getting right after it, knowing that I've got another play to make. And so one thing that we talk about is when you make that mistake, take accountability. Instead of pointing your fingers elsewhere, other things like that, you say, hey, my bad, I'm going to get them next time, right? Because that does 2 things. One, it tells the whole team, if you're in a team sport, I'm taking accountability for my part in this, and I'm confident in knowing that I can step up and do it better next time. So, case in point, we had a great interaction with one of our pitchers and catchers, where pitcher is not doing well, throwing the ball a little wild. Catcher allows a ball to go by, run scores. I go out to talk to him, settle them all down. Catcher, love this kid's attitude. He comes out, he says the name of the pitcher. He said, hey, that's my bad. I should have blocked that one. Was like, I'm looking at that going, there's no way you were getting to that. Like, I don't care. You Pudge Rodriguez. You could be whoever. You are not blocking that one, right? It was so far off. But he went out there and he said, he's got the confidence to go like, I think I could block that. I got you. I got your back. I am going to be accountable for my end of it. You let the ball go. Wherever it comes after that is up to me. And I got your back. And so when we can be accountable to one another and we show that responsibility, that way that pitcher knows, all right, if I might overcook this curveball, he's going to get me next time, or if I give up a hit, I know the people, not a hit, but if I give up contact, I know the people behind me, they have the confidence and ability. They have the accountability. I have the trust in them. They have the trust in me. And even if they don't make that play, we're going to work it out because I know you're accountable. I know we have the same goals moving forward.
And I'm going to flip that a little bit because I think you're right, but there's another side of it. No one expects you to be perfect. Like, and as parents, I want you to actually ask yourself, do you believe that? Do you actually expect your kid to be perfect? Or do you say you don't when you really do? Because this starts by us as well. Like, if we acknowledge that everyone makes mistakes, and we let our kids know everyone makes mistakes, and we don't treat them like they're supposed to be perfect, which means we can't correct every single thing they do wrong. But when you make mistakes, owning those mistakes and making things right when you mess up is how coaches and teammates learn to trust you.
Yep.
Because if you're the one, I'll back up. When I was, I think in high school, we were on the bus somewhere and I said something and one of the coaches was there, and this guy had coached me in Little League, and he grew up with my uncle. And he said something to me, a coachable moment. And instead of taking accountability, I came up with an excuse. And he goes, "Man, Carone, you are such a Salmon. You guys have excuses for everything." And Salmon was my mom's maiden name. It was the last name of my uncle who he grew up with. So he was taking this generationally. Like, like your whole group doesn't take accountability for anything. So like it just showed the lack of trust he had in me because of the lack of accountability. And this is a guy who, when people ask me who some of my coaching, like mentor / motivated inspirations were, he is at the top of that list. So like, I don't want you to hear that I'm trying to have a grudge against this guy. Like, he is someone I look up to as a coach, but it just goes to show that when there is no accountability, there can be no trust.
Sure.
So can we teach our kids that they don't have to be perfect, but they can be accountable for their mistakes? And when they're accountable for those mistakes, more people, players and coaches, will be able to trust them. And in the future, bosses will be able to trust them, spouses will be able to trust them, and so on and so forth.
That's exactly where I was going to go too, is like, you and I offline, we work together in other ways, and it's like, I trust you and I know that we're not always going to be perfect. I'm not always going to be perfect, but it's like, if I were to think about it, as weird as it is to go like, who would I want to screw up? Jonathan. Why? Because I know you'll make it right. Or I know you're going to do everything you can to correct it. So when you build that accountability as an adult, it's like, I know you're going to screw up, but I would rather be in the trenches with you because I know you're going to take accountability for it.
You got to the second go around on the buzzer. Last one, lesson number 9 that we hope your kid learns in 2026. We hope your kid learns how to find joy in the process.
Yeah, we run up with this a couple of times, especially as you get into, once, like I started off my career in youth sports, and it was the YMCA, and with the YMCA, it was, everybody plays, everybody wins. And until you got to middle school, you didn't count score or anything else like that. As soon as you start counting score, and the kids know the score anyway, so it doesn't matter, or at least they think they do. As soon as you start counting the score, you understand that it's a binary. Everybody's going to, there's going to be 10, 11, 12, 14 kids that win, and however many on the, same amount on the other side that lose. And you cannot win every game, and you will not win every game. And if you do, you're not really learning much, or there's something wrong anyway. And I think if you are encouraging your kids in a sport, encourage them to find joy. You don't have to be happy with losing, but can you go, man, I love to play this game. I mean, as a 42-year-old man, I still love playing sports, win or lose. I love winning, but at the same time, there is a bit of joy that I'm like, man, I love the fact that I'm able to do this. I'm able to play. I'm able to find those moments where it's like this. where would I rather be on a Saturday? It's like, yeah, I want to be doing this. And so if your kids are not finding that joy, if you are not finding that joy, something is wrong. Something needs to be changed. Is it changing a team? Is it changing a sport? Is it changing whatever? Is it taking a break? I don't know. But finding the joy is super important.
The process is what's going to be repeated throughout their entire life. If joy only comes in the results or the outcomes, then we're never really going to be satisfied. Nick Saban once said, outcomes are a distraction. Focusing on the process you have to do to get the outcome is the most important thing you need to do. If our kids don't learn to love the work, then they're never going to actually be fulfilled through the sport or through anything in general. They're just going to be chasing the next dopamine hit from the next win or the next success that they have. And that is, as Coach Richie McKay said, that is a treadmill that is hard to get off of. The outcomes are fun. The outcomes are memorable, but it's the process where the joy is found. It's the struggle. It's the learning, the getting better, the doing the thing over and over and over, and finally having that breakthrough moment. That's where the joy has to come from. If the joy only comes from the results, I know this isn't completely true, but I like to say a goal that is not controllable is just a wish. There's holes in that logic. Like I'll admit that. But if we can't find joy in the things that, or if we only find joy in the things that we cannot control, which are outcomes, then we're never going to be satisfied. But if we can find joy in what we can control, which is the process, which is through going through all of the hard things and learning to love the extra work and learning to love those little tiny pieces of it, then we're going to live a joyful, satisfied life because we're always going through the process. We rarely get the outcomes.
Yep. And you've heard it from a number of different people where it's like, yeah, winning is fun, but whether it's Kobe or Michael Jordan or, all of your quote unquote hard workers, grinders, it's like if they don't really love getting up at 5 a.m. and getting in the gym, if they don't find that joy,
that's when guys retire. They're like, oh, it's going to take too much. The work I got to do is not worth it.
Yeah. You hear that football players all the time too, where they're just like thinking about going back into training camp after this. I don't have the joy anymore. And so, keeping them involved in that, because that extends to whatever you're doing. Any of the work that you're going to do, you're going to hate your job unless you can find some sort of joy in the process, because your job is not going to be all winning. Your relationships are not going to be all winning. We all know as a parent, being a parent is not all winning. I feel like it's hardly ever winning, right? But if you don't find the joy that connects you to that process, then that's when those bad habits, that's when those bad coping mechanisms, that's when the bad results happen.
We have 12 seconds left. I don't have anything to say. Do we just sit here in
bank
silence?
It. Yeah, bank it for our next episode.
Hey, okay, we got through it. Those are our 9 things that we hope your kid learns in 2026 through sports. What did we not mention? What do you hope your kid learns this year through sports? If you have an answer that we didn't get to, I would love to know it. Let me know on social at Healthy Sports Parents, or email me at hello@healthysportsparents.com and let me know, because I truly want to know what you hope your kid learns this year through sports. But that's it for today's episode. As a reminder, if you want to get your weekend playbook, head to healthysportsparents.com/playbook or click down in the show notes below. The merch store's open as well. You can get any of the Healthy Sports Parents merch that you want. The shirt that Eric's wearing today, you can get that in the store. If you like the episode today, we're going to ask that you subscribe on your favorite podcast app or on YouTube. If you're listening to Apple Podcasts, it'd be a huge help for you to write a small review. If you're on YouTube, make sure to hit that like button as well. If this episode helped you in any way, the best thing you can do to help us grow the show is by sharing it with a friend. Next episode, I'm hoping to do another bonus episode in 2 weeks. I haven't got it scheduled yet, but that's the plan. If not, season 3 kicks off on February 4th. So make sure you are subscribed wherever you listen or watch so that you'll get that when it comes out. Most of all, enjoy your time with your kids. Hopefully you're having some downtime right now before the new year kicks off. Enjoy them, watching them practice or play or whatever they're doing. Have fun with them. Have a great week. I'll talk to you again soon. Happy 2026.